Right inside this room behind me is a market expert that's going to reveal the biggest crypto secret of all time. And I've traveled all over the world looking for the most profitable crypto expert. My search led me to New York City, Baltimore, South Florida, many other places. But ultimately, I tracked down one man in Medellin, Colombia, who's proven time and time again that he can pull winning cryptocurrency trades out of the market as big as 9,000%, 11,652%, and even 56,066%. Enough to turn simple $1,000 investments into more than $770,000. He spotted 5 coins that paid out more than 1,000% in the last year alone. And it's all thanks to this brand new Genesis cycle. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Chris Rowe, and most people know me for calling every major market top and bottom over the last 25 years, and being one of the youngest money managers in Wall Street history. My last expose was viewed by more than 3 million people worldwide. But today is not about me. Today, I'm going to introduce you to one of the earliest and most successful crypto experts in the world, and to get him to reveal how one new stage of cryptocurrency is going to mint countless millionaires in the coming months and years. Most folks think that they have already missed out on the cryptocurrency train, but it's just getting started. Let's head inside and we can hear from him firsthand. Marco Wutzer, one of the earliest cryptocurrency investors, has been along for the ride since the very beginning. Consider this, he first bought Bitcoin when it was at just $2. Now Bitcoin has risen by more than 3.2 million%. He's one of the earliest investors in XRP Ripple, which rose by more than 56,000% since the day he first bought in. He's one of the only crypto experts in the world that's seen regular gains larger than 1,000%. And he's agreed to meet with me for a one-time special event. And now let's get into it. Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Chris Rowe, and I want to welcome you to this special presentation of crypto's final market mania. Finally here together in Medellin, Colombia. Marco Wutzer, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure, Chris. Thank you for having me, and thanks for making the trip down here.
We are very grateful that you chose us to not only make your announcement, but to offer your guidance through this historic event. Because if anyone knows where this sector of the market's headed, it's you. After all, you're one of the earliest and most successful investors in this sector.
For years, the government, mainstream media, and Wall Street all hated cryptocurrency. Most people thought it would never amount to anything.
It's amazing that in just a few years, crypto went from being one of the most hated assets to the single most talked about investment across the world.
That's right. But not just that. At this very moment, cryptocurrencies are entering a brand new stage of adoption. And it's clear to see from mainstream media. Interesting enough, in 2017, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon once said that anyone who owned Bitcoin was stupid. And now JP Morgan has their very own cryptocurrency and offers 6 crypto investments to their biggest clients. Billionaires, entire governments, and the biggest companies on the planet are all in on crypto now. According to Forbes, Elon Musk's Tesla owns 42,902 Bitcoins, equaling more than $1.8 billion. And according to Yahoo Finance, many of the biggest companies on the planet are invested and involved in cryptocurrencies, including Microsoft, PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa. And there are more than 40 countries that have crypto or blockchain projects well underway, including Canada, China, Sweden, the US, and my home country, Germany. The mayor of Miami is pushing a proposal to pay government workers in Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency is spreading to countries all over the world, and new investors are piling in at incredible rates, including the United States. And it could even be the anchor point for rebuilding trust in the US government by the American people.
So what does all this mean for the crypto market?
I've been thinking a lot about this. I do believe Bitcoin itself has a lot of room to grow. Standard Chartered, a global $15 billion banking and financial firm, says that Bitcoin will hit $100,000 in early 2022. Billionaire investor Tim Draper believes that Bitcoin will reach $250,000 by the end of 2022. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, twins that have become billionaires several times over with Bitcoin, told CNBC that Bitcoin will skyrocket to $500,000 before 2030. But if Bitcoin does reach $100,000 in 2022, like Standard Chartered predicts, as it stands right now, it would be just a small return for investors. While any positive return is great, there are alternatives in this space that are proving to be 10, 50, even 100 times more profitable than Bitcoin. The point I'm trying to make here is that altcoins have incredible potential, to the point that millionaires can be made in as little as 7 months. And what we've seen so far is nothing compared to what is coming. But there are coins out there that are losers, shitcoins that burn investors. In order to find the altcoins that could actually make you money, you need to know the difference between a meme coin and the real deal. You need to understand what is really making these coins explode. And this next stage will lead to the complete adoption and domination of cryptocurrency worldwide. We are on the brink of an $8 trillion tsunami of new wealth for investors. Explaining what is coming isn't easy, so I'm going to put it simple enough that anyone can understand. And you'll appreciate this, Chris, since you are one of the most successful tech experts around. Take a look at this chart of the Nasdaq, which, as you know, is primarily made up of the most popular tech companies in the world. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and Amazon. In the 80s and 90s, the most revolutionary technologies that we use every single day were being developed and tested. Things like mobile phones, personal computers, and the regular use of the internet. And early, savvy experts like yourself were getting invested. This is what I call the preliminary stage, when the foundation is being built, and only early investors are getting involved. Then, in the mid to late 2000s, these technologies saw incredible mainstream adoption. Almost every household across the globe had cell phones and personal computers. The whole world is now relying on the internet. This is what I call the prevailing stage, where mass adoption shoots the entire industry through the roof. Big tech companies began to completely dominate the stock market, gaining millions of investors and billions, even trillions of dollars in capital. And finally, over the last 10 years, technology as a whole has been in what I call the prime stage, where the whole world relies on these technologies. But the key thing to notice when looking at the Nasdaq chart again is that the biggest gains didn't come until the prevailing stage during the late 2000s and 2010s. Around the time that you saw the biggest gains of your early investments in companies like Amazon, Chris.
And a very similar chart can be applied to just about every industry, and it correlates directly with the market associated with the industry. That's something that I specialize in.
Right. For example, mobile phones went through the very same process. And taking a look at a chart of Apple's share prices over the years, the sharpest gains follow the same pattern. Investors had the biggest gains during the prevailing stage, when mass adoption of smartphones was reaching all across the globe. The same thing happened with the internet and search engines. As broadband internet began to see mass adoption all across the world, and our most important industries began to rely on it for daily function, Microsoft's share price followed the exact same pattern.
And again, investors saw the biggest gains during the prevailing stage. As a tech investor from those days, I'm living proof. But what you're saying is this same pattern, the Genesis cycle, applies across every industry that experiences mass adoption. So where is crypto in this cycle right now?
Here's what the crypto pattern looks like. We are right at the beginning of the prevailing stage, on the brink of the sharpest gains. You'll notice a new section that the world has only ever seen one time. I call it the frenzy stage. It was a complete market anomaly. The only other time it happened was during the dot-com bubble of 2000, where Main Street investors piled in at alarming rates, as many brand new technologies were hitting the mainstream. The same thing happened back in 2017. People went absolutely nuts over cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, causing a brand new phase where countless crypto millionaires like myself were born. And this was amazing because it simply came from millions of investors. There was so much hype surrounding Bitcoin that it didn't matter that the technology behind it was still being developed. Mass adoption hadn't come around yet, and cryptocurrencies still skyrocketed through the roof. But despite all of this, it brought us right back to the proven pattern that has happened over and over again with every single industry. And take a look at how similar the Nasdaq pattern is compared to crypto. We are now at the beginning of the prevailing stage, where mass adoption of crypto is just beginning. And it shows that the coming stage is going to be much more profitable than anything we have ever seen. We have already seen what a few deep-pocketed investors can do to the crypto market. And now the whole world is getting in on the action.
So you're saying that we haven't even seen the most explosive gains out of the crypto market, despite what's already happened?
Yes, there's no doubt. What we've seen so far is nothing compared to what is coming.
So altcoins are just like smaller companies that haven't taken off yet? So like if Tesla is Bitcoin, then a smaller EV company like Neo is an altcoin?
Not quite. I suppose you could look at them as alternates. But that is just because Bitcoin has been the most popular for the last few years. But there's a key difference that I have already mentioned a few times. Altcoins can be 100 times more explosive than the most popular cryptos like Ethereum and Bitcoin. Cryptos like EGT brought investors 26,566%. A simple $4,000 investment would have made you a millionaire in 7 months. ECM2 rose by a ridiculous 283,233%. And a simple $375 investment here would have made you a millionaire in just 373 days. VRG, one of the biggest rises I have ever seen, saw a 1.2 million% increase. A tiny $85 investment here would have made you a millionaire in less than a year. Now, of course, I can't promise that any crypto is going to return 1.2 million%. I'm just trying to show you how explosive the crypto market can be. And we're just now entering the final stage of the Genesis cycle, where we could see the biggest millionaire minting event in history.
1.2 million%? Those are incredible gains. I can't think of any investment that has seen that kind of return for investors. What kind of developments are causing these cryptos to explode by so much?
Well, to tie it back to the growth of tech stocks over the years, as you well know, tech stocks exploded onto the scene because of the breakthrough uses of the internet. And blockchain is doing the same thing for cryptocurrencies today. The growth and development of blockchain is already causing waves in mainstream media. Forbes says the fourth industrial revolution is built on blockchain. The Financial Post reports that blockchain will be a bigger revolution than the internet. This is why Forbes calls blockchain a once-in-a-generation opportunity. But very few people understand why blockchain is so revolutionary. Just like the internet and mobile phones back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, we were building the platform for all of the revolutionary devices that we all use every single day. We were building the platform for the smartphone in your pocket, Chris. The platform for the computer that everyone is watching this presentation on at home. And even the breakthrough medical devices that save millions of lives all across the globe. Blockchain has been developing its revolutionary technology for the last 14 years. And we are beginning to see mass adoption.
So let me clarify something here. You're saying that blockchain is going to be every bit as revolutionary as the internet, smartphones, and computers?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Chris. Bigger even. These kinds of opportunities are truly once in a generation. With a revolution like this, the more that technology changes the world for the better, the more people it touches and the more revenue it generates, the bigger the investor gains will be. And this is exactly why blockchain is going to be so big. And why the gains have already been so massive. Because blockchain will affect everything on the planet. Blockchain is the safest, most secure, and fastest way to store information. All of the information flying around the internet, literally everything. And Chris, what is the one thing that everyone in the world handles and uses almost every single day?
Money.
Exactly. I'm talking about your financial and banking information, business information, tax details, credit cards, salary, the list goes on and on. Blockchain will touch, manage, protect, and revolutionize it all. And it doesn't stop there. Personal health records, employment records, property titles, everything will be stored using a blockchain.